Is that still an echo?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen.
Come on. We invented a new word today.
Oh my god, I can't even talk. See, this is what happens when you're like
Me was
night out, half
me
past
is
seven before an hour before
appreciation.
opening your fast.
Mine was appreciation. Yours is gentleman.
Gentle moles. Subhanallah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Alhamdulillah, today we're going to be talking about I can't forgive my ex. Now, I've just realized something. You know what I've done?
What have we done?
I've made a spelling mistake.
On
My
what?
God. Oh my God. I really am past tense too. Let me just delete that. So I can't forgive my ex.
As Northerners say, I can't forgive me ex.
Me ex. Yes.
Me ex, yeah.
Don't make me laugh today, woman. Right. This woman deliberately makes me laugh, and I've been told not to laugh on this live.
Listen, mate. It's called real talk. If you're gonna find something funny, you're gonna find it funny. Let's not hold back.
Yeah, true. Alhamdulillah. So today we're talking about how to people who can't forgive their ex and some strategies to take away, inshallah, if you've been in this situation, and what you can do to actually forgive your ex. Joining me today is the amazing, one and only professional women of all women, Rosaline Batul, the transformational business coach, mashallah, who helps coaches transform their business.
And we're joined by Saka Riyad, who is the marriage mindset coach, and she works with thriving couples who want to reignite the passion in their relationships.
Excellent. Jazakallah khair, everyone, for jumping on. Please let me know if there's an echo sound on Facebook because we have had that before, and I don't want you to have any problems. We'll sort it if there is. Okay, so Rosie, what is this about people saying they can't forgive their ex? Where does that come from, and why is that here, and what is that in essence?
Okay, so basically, what I've noticed with forgiveness is that you're hoping that the person will say sorry so that you can find closure. That's usually the root cause. Let's just be honest, right? So when we say I'm never going to forgive him for what he's done to me, it's usually because you didn't receive any closure from that relationship. You didn't find any closure. You didn't even find that you didn't get the answers that you were looking for. So what you do is to help you navigate through those emotions, you hold on to a grudge. You hold on to resentment so that it makes you feel like, yes, this makes sense. I should never forgive him because of what he did to me. It makes you feel powerful, like there's some reason why you should hold on, right? Because usually when you go through divorce or when you break up with someone, it's because you had a hope that it would last. You had that expectation.
Last forever. Yeah.
Yeah. And when that expectation is not met, what we do is we try to grab onto anything that we can control. And the only thing you can control is your emotions and your thoughts. So what you do is you go down that negative rabbit hole. Yeah. And you say, I'm not ever going to forgive him. I can never forgive him for what he did to me. And then you tell yourself, because I did this, I gave up my life, I gave up this, I did this for him. And you go down that pattern. And what it does, it just affects you and not that person.
SubhanAllah, 100%. And you know what? Today I was speaking to a 22-year-old who has a child, and her husband left
Psych, are you
her.
there?
You know what?
On
She's
my
got
side,
her
it's
whole life ahead of her, right? And the only thing that is on her mind and the only thing that she discussed was he hasn't come to me, he hasn't seen the kids, he hasn't said sorry to me, he hasn't told me what I need to do, he hasn't. There was so much pain and aggravation because of not getting disclosure, that other person not telling them what they want to hear or even ending it and just walking out of their life. And what happens is if you hold on to them feelings, if you hold on to that pain and that negativity, hoping that he might, and she's like, every single day I go on his Facebook page, I'm checking his Instagram and I'm looking, and it's a habitual every 2 second kind of pattern
mm,
that has he messaged? You know, should I put a picture of my child up so because he hasn't seen the kid for like 6 months, he might message. It might invoke some sort of emotion in him, and he's going to message me. He's going to contact me. Really, where that's coming from is a lot of pain. and a lot of frustration that is vent up inside that person because there hasn't been closure. And because of that, you start getting into a battle with yourself. And
Yes.
that battle is really dangerous. It's like saying, you know, there's this thing, um, forgiveness is like drinking poison and
Yeah.
expecting the other person to die. So
Yeah.
you're
Holding on to the
drinking it.
grudge. Yeah.
Yeah, you're drinking it, but you're expecting the other person to die.
Yeah. That's
SubhanAllah.
basically what it is. And you know what
Yeah.
it is, guys? Another thing, when you can't forgive when you can't forgive your ex, especially, and I've noticed I work with a lot of successful women, like they are making six figures a year, but then they have an issue with their ex. So what happens is it stops you from serving, like if you're in a business, it stops you from showing up whole. It stops you from showing up for your kids. Because when you actually think of it, because you're so stuck in that pattern of negativity and checking your ex and seeing if he cares about you and telling people he did this to me, because you're stuck in that cycle, you perpetuate the emotion and you live in that cycle forever. And then you don't even realize that it's affected everyone else around you because you create your environment. So if you're internally you're feeling negative and you're in pain and you're bitter and you're holding on to resentment, that's going to translate into everything that you do in life, your money, your health, your relationships, your career. It's going to affect everything.
Yeah, so this isn't just that it's going to be a one off thing and you're not going to be able to sleep all night long thinking about your ex and what's happened and reminiscing on their memories and, and getting things and seeing things that belong to him or belong to her, and it triggers you and you're in that cycle over and over again.
Mm.
You're damaging yourself. It's really, really difficult to get out of that. But what can you do? What are some of the things that you can, if you are in this situation or you have been? And yeah, of course, naturally, when you have a breakup, you will be heartbroken. You will be
Yeah,
traumatized. That's part of it, unfortunately, right? But
yeah,
then your responsibility to get out of that rabbit hole and not keep digging yourself into that rabbit hole. And
right.
how you can forgive, you have to really, it's the ability to manage your emotions. You
Hmm.
know, it's that's what you need to do in to remain calm and to remain in control is to manage your emotions.
Mm.
So if you feel like you're going into another relationship, right? You're getting married again and you still haven't forgiven that person. You need to think, okay, this time I need to set they need to set limits,
Yeah.
because complainers, negative people, they're bad news for everyone. They
Hmm.
wallow in their problems and they become problem focused rather than solution focused.
Right.
And they want people to join their pity party, like pity
Yeah.
party, whatever, right? Because
Yeah.
they can feel better about themselves. And
Right.
have you ever been around somebody who's always complaining? Uh,
Mm.
and there's a fine line between being having like a sympathetic ear and getting sucked into a very negative emotional spiral.
And then what does that do? What does that do to your energy? It affects you. Then you start
It
taking
drains
on
you
that.
out.
Yeah,
Yes.
it drains you out completely, and you take that on and make it your burden. So this is like the effects of like bitterness and resentment and holding on to a grudge. Is that you're not just affecting yourself, you're affecting the people around you. You're affecting your family, your friends, your kids. Because you know what, kids can sense things as well. So even if you try and hide it, you can't hide it in your energy. And another sign that you haven't forgiven your ex is that you can't stop talking about him. You
Yes.
just can't stop.
Yes,
You're telling
yes.
the whole world what happened.
Any moment you get with a friend or a family member,
You relate
you
it.
bring
Yeah.
him or her up, and the conversation revolves around them.
Yes. And
That's
you
a
know what
sign
you
that
do?
something is
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah,
You know what you're doing? You are the one who's creating the barrier. Like you're telling yourself that you're the one who's actually living in the past still, in the sense that the marriage is over now. The only thing you can do is move on and heal from it. And another thing that you also have to understand is that everyone comes with their own baggage. So maybe if you're in a relationship and it ends, it's not always the case that it was because of something you did or something he did. Sometimes people don't realize that they have traumas and they have emotional wounds that need to heal because they're too afraid to dig within themselves. So usually the way to switch bitterness and feeling resentful towards someone is to be compassionate and understand that that person
yes,
has
yes.
his own issues. Yeah.
SubhanAllah.
And it
And
wasn't,
when you come from a place of compassion, you have a
Yeah.
complete shift in your mindset. You're no longer a victim now. You're no longer always blaming that person, and forgiveness doesn't become hard for you because
Right.
you're not going to die in the fight, kind of thing, right? Successful people know how important it is to live to fight another day, especially even if your husband or your wife was a toxic individual.
Mm.
It's really about, you need to read and respond to your emotions and choose your battles wisely.
That's so true, guys. And look, you have to look deep within because it takes two to tango.
Yeah,
Sometimes you're the problem. And I always say this, like, when I look at a situation, remember there's your side, that person's side, and the truth. And only Allah knows the truth. Yeah. So you need to understand that only Allah knows the truth. So I need to go and dig deep because everyone has their own perceptions. Your ex could be saying you are the problem, and you are saying
yeah,
that he's the problem. And is that better? Maybe he was the problem, and it's true. Yes, he might have been abusive. He might have done things that there's no like explanation for, but it's not your problem to go and figure it out. And this is what I
yeah,
see with a lot of women. Like when I work with my clients, they always have an issue with an ex. There's always an issue with an ex that they have to heal, right?
mhm,
Is he's an abusive person. Why did he do that to me? The first thing you ask is, why did he do that to me? Why did he hurt me? I was so nice to him. I gave him my all. I gave him children. But that's the issue. You gave your power to him. You are telling
yeah.
yourself, I
That's
handed him the
exactly the
keys.
mistake you made. You
You
gave
made
your
that
full power
mistake.
to that person who you shouldn't have given to. That belongs to
Right.
Allah.
Exactly. End of the day, that guy, yes, it's so true. Like, we don't belong to each other. We belong to Allah. He's going to return to Allah one day. But what you did is you gave up your power because you thought you had none. And you're still giving up your power when you don't want to forgive the person, when you're stuck in resentment, you are still giving that person your power. And the only way for you to get your power back is to accept that you had a part to play in the situation. That's the
Yeah,
best
you
thing that
have
you
to
can do.
accept responsibility. You know what? Even as
Yes.
hard as it is, and people don't like to do this, by the way. Some, especially like people who've got big egos, they can't say, it's
Yeah.
difficult on their system to say, you know what, I was at fault here. I was
Yeah.
at mistake here. And when you look at it like that, yes, initially it is hard to accept, but you will, it'll be so much easier for you to accept. And you know what? There's also a distinction that I want to make, by the way.
Mm,
When we say forgive that person and walk off, that doesn't mean, the distinction is, doesn't mean you become a doormat, that he
mm.
walks all over you and you feel that much sympathy for, or she walks all over you, right? And you feel immense sympathy and you've become a doormat. I'm not talking to that level of forgiveness, because there's a fine line between that. But we're saying forgiveness, subhanAllah, which is going to serve you, which is going to help you move on from the situation, not become, uh, not like be kind of overtaken by their irrational behavior.
Exactly, guys. And when we say forgiveness, it's also forgiving yourself for allowing someone to treat you that way. Forgiving is really just forgiving yourself for just giving your power to someone. And it's okay to make that mistake. It's okay to say, you know what, I allowed this person to walk all over me. I let him misconstrue my boundaries. I let him, literally just take the mick out of me. That's
Yeah,
something that I need to take back.
yeah,
I need to
subhanallah.
forgive myself.
And you know what? And Rosie, subhanallah, in our community, there's a lot of this, that, because obviously, as women, and everything, we want to make our marriage work, right? We're
Yeah,
told, we want to make our marriage work. We're with one man for the rest of our life, inshallah. That's the intention, that's the plan.
yeah.
But because we want to make it work so badly, subhanallah, we want to make it work so badly that we end up becoming doormats, or it becomes abusive and we're still in it and we're not leaving it. There's still a difference.
Yeah,
There's a difference. We're
right.
not telling you to become doormats and, you know, um, be in violent or abusive relationships. But what we're saying is, if you've been in that relationship and you're still hurting from that pain, and it's there and it traumatizes you. One of the sisters said to me, when I go to sleep, I can't sleep. My emotions are like a whirlwind, they're like a
Mm,
storm. And these memories and thoughts about my partner and what we did, and how can he do that to me?
right, exactly. And you know what? Another thing, guys, especially with the ladies, um, when you don't heal this part of yourself, and it usually comes back to childhood. Like I actually had a session today with a successful woman, mashallah, she's really successful, but she just can't get over the trauma of her past, and it involved her ex as well. And then it was creating anxiety. This is, you have to understand this, that when you don't forgive, when you don't let go, it creates anxiety within you. It creates these symptoms: anxiety, stress, worry, depression. You are allowing this situation to make you mentally unwell, basically. You're giving your power to that person, right? So once you get rid of, once you heal, you stop attracting toxic people, because this client of mine, she was still attracting toxic men. And you'll find that when you are holding on, it's like a anchor. You're holding on to the anchor and you're pulling it along with you, and you're going to be attracting people who want that anchor as well. The only way for you to attract good is to let go of that and then heal and move on and attract better. So that when you'll find also, once you forgive and you let go of the past, you will start attracting better things, whether it's money, whether it's a relationship, whether it's better friendships, whether you go and switch careers and ask for a promotion. So much good happens when you just let go.
Yeah, 100%. Subhanallah. Letting go is absolutely key. And,
Yeah.
and when you look at it from a third person perspective, in NLP, subhanallah, we use something, an NLP technique when two people are in conflict, right? And this is what I've used recently with a couple. Two husband and wife are in conflict, and you just get them, you shift them to see another perspective. It's not about me, 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 me. Just wait a minute, take a step back, let's slow down a minute and understand what's missing here. What's
Mm,
the deep need that's missing? What's the communication gap that's missing? Right? And forgiveness, you have to have a big heart to forgive. It's not easy. Forgiveness isn't, easy to do. It takes a lot of, but subhanallah, look, even like in the Quran, it says, I know there's, was it that story? I think of Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, when the slander was done against her. And
yeah.
one of it was done by her cousin. I think it was Mr. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. Yeah, I'm just paraphrasing. And he had made some accusations, or had taken part in them accusations against
Mm,
her. And
mm,
subhanallah, and the Prophet ﷺ said, to, I think it was Abu Bakr, if I'm not mistaken, that, he said, how am I going to forgive this man? He was my cousin. He slandered my daughter. He made, this is a vile accusation that he's made. It's not even true.
mm,
It's not even true. There's no basis. There's no fact.
mm,
And, and Allah said, would you not want Allah to forgive you?
mm.
Think about that. Would you, if you've made a mistake, you've tripped up in life, would you want Allah's forgiveness? Yes or no?
Yeah,
You would, right? You
of
would.
course. Of
So then
course.
then if you want Allah to forgive you, then why are you holding on to this person so tightly that is consuming you and it's overtaking your life?
Right, exactly. Guys, because remember, it's not serving you, it's not benefiting you in any way. When you hold on to that grudge and that pain, it really isn't benefiting you, because all you can think about is getting revenge, and that's what it really is. You really, when you allow that forgiveness to when you allow that grudge to hold on in your heart for so long, you will seek revenge, and you'll end up seeking revenge on people who really love you, because you can't take it out on that person. So you end up seeking revenge on other people who you can just dictate to. So let's say your kids, or like not revenge in that way, but you get angry at them because you're getting angry at your ex, but you're taking it out on your children, or you're
Yeah.
taking it out on your family, on your parents, or your friends, or your colleagues. Do you see it's a perpetuating cycle? This is why forgiveness is so important. And you have to remember, guys, it's not always about you, it's about letting go of the pain. Because why would you stab yourself? Like, imagine someone gives you a knife and then you go, okay, I'm just going to keep stabbing myself. You're perpetuating the pain. The way that you let go is by you letting go of the knife and thinking, you know what, this is not safe for me. It's not serving me. I need to move on. And it's painful. You know what? Hearing this, you probably think, oh my God, who are these women to say, look, we both have exes, all right? Who did a lot of things. We were
Yeah.
both in a similar situation. I was in a situation where it wasn't serving me, but I had to accept that I allowed it. And I was part of the problem too. That's the way I moved
And
on.
you attract that, you
Yeah.
become like a magnet, and because you're
Yes.
vibrating that energy, that's what you're going to pull towards you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's so deep. I'm glad you touched upon that energy, guys. We are just energetic beings. Remember, your soul is what drives you. So your soul is attracted to things. When you are covered in all this trauma, when you're covered in all this resentment, that's why you keep attracting, and you keep asking, why me? What's happening? Why me? This is why, because Allah says He does not change the condition of people until they change what's within themselves. He will not change your environment until you look deep within and reflect and heal within yourself. Everything comes from you. Your environment comes from you, and you have to accept, okay, I'm creating a negative environment for me now by holding on to this. You can't get revenge. You'll never get closure. The only thing you can do, the two most powerful words you can ever say to yourself is let go. And that's it. And obviously, seek therapy, seek coaching, so you don't go into a situation like that again and then relive that experience.
Yeah, subhanAllah. So you're taking responsibility for your part. So you don't
Yeah.
end up becoming the victim, because what happens is we go into victim mode
Yes.
language, victim mode, everything. And once you take responsibility and you say, you know what, let's be honest, I did make some mistakes here myself as well. It's not only to blame for that other person, and then become compassionate with yourself, because you know what, that was a learning curve for you. It didn't work out. Qadar Allah ma sha fa'al, alhamdulillah. It is from the wisdom of Allah, and it's happened now. So don't beat yourself up about it. I know family members can also make the situation worse, where they're stirring and they're saying comments, or they're making, they're saying things, but you have to just practice that compassion, and block out that noise.
Yeah, and set up your boundaries.
Yeah,
Actually,
set your boundaries for
tell your
next
family
time,
members.
inshallah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also if people remind you, say, I don't want to know, I don't want to hear it. Like, guys, I don't know if you ever knew this about what happened with my ex when he was tarnishing me online, and people were messaging me. I said, listen, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Like, why are you bringing me the news? I don't. If the news missed me, why are you bringing it to me? Allah made it miss me for a reason, but now you're bringing the news to me. I don't care. And this is what happens when you haven't forgiven someone. You're like, really? What is the
You
person
got to
saying?
entertain that conversation.
Yeah,
What did he
you.
say? When did he say it? How else did he say it? What else did he call you? You
Yeah,
start going down that route because you haven't truly gotten over
yeah.
it. There's been no closure.
And it
You haven't.
adds to the fire. Have you heard that saying? You're adding fuel to the fire. It adds fuel to the fire. You're like, right, this is a reason why I can never forgive him. Why I'll never, you're looking for ways to justify why you resent this person, and you're looking for the drama, and a drama will come. If you invite it, and sit down with it, you will perpetuate that feeling within you. You will amplify it. That amplified feeling of bitterness and resentment. Like, you have to ask yourself, why do I want to hold on to that? Who is it serving? It's not
Yeah.
serving anyone. It's
And
only
you have
harming
to,
you.
yeah, it's only harming you. You have to work on releasing them hurt feelings.
Yes.
You have to work on releasing them, and that's where people come in for marriage coaching, or they come and they ask for help, because
Mm.
you need to attempt to be understanding and let go. And that process, a lot of people get stuck in that process. They can't let go. You have to forgive. how,
Yeah.
how else are you going to move on with your life? How else are you going to let this incident stop you from living the rest of your life and just cry about it all the time? You can't. You have to be the bigger person.
Yeah. And
And
also,
it's difficult. It is difficult, but how else are you gonna? It's not just gonna affect you, but your kids, your work, your routine,
yeah.
your sleeping patterns. That hurt, that anger is just gonna go round, and it's gonna turn bigger and bigger and bigger. It's
And
like the monster. You kill it when it's small. You
mm,
kill the monster when it's small. So you're
yeah.
not dominated. You're not overtaken by unresolved anger, bitterness, resentment,
Mm.
and attracting another person like that into your life again.
Yeah, and I want to add to that, guys. When you can't forgive, when you hold on to that grudge, when you are constantly reminding yourself of the pain, the only person that it will always hurt is you. That's
Yeah.
it. I
And
really want.
that's really sad, and I
Yeah.
have and I feel compassion towards them people.
Yes.
Wallahi, I do.
And I know you are destined for greater things. You have so much potential in you. You have so much to give to the world, whether it's your family, whether it's your kids, whether it's your parents, whether it's your friends. But you are wasting your energy and wasting your time stuck in the past. There's this famous saying, I don't know who the girl is, Charlotte Webb, I think. I don't know who it was. She said that forgiveness is giving up hope that the past will change. So usually when you're stuck in that resentment mode, is because you're sitting in the past, looking at all the events that happened. It started here, started here, started here. I gave him this, I gave him that. And you are just only like amplifying the pain. The only, like, for me personally, guys, when I forgave, and I had to thank my ex first. I had to thank him for the lessons that I learned about myself. If you're gonna hate someone, thank them too. So you have to thank your ex. Okay, alhamdulillah, I became stronger, I became more resilient, I became more wiser. You wouldn't have known you had a problem unless you were in that situation. So if you're gonna hate someone and you're gonna, resent someone, also thank them for the experiences. And wallahi, when I started forgiving and I let go, alhamdulillah, I got married. And I'm married to the most amazing man, mashallah. He's like my biggest support system. But I had to let go. I had to let go of that pain. I had to let go of the what if and how dare he, and does he not realize I gave him so much? You have to let go.
Yeah, and it's and I completely get that, Khatija. It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard, especially in cases where people have cheated, right? It's
Yeah.
hard. It's a big thing on your system. It lies down on your conscious kind of thing.
But how
But
about we shift the language? How about we shift to say, what if it was easy?
yeah, subhanallah. True, exactly. So that's the power of language, subhanallah, that if you start
What if you
thinking,
just asked? What if you just asked, what if it was easy to let go? And maybe your mind be like, yeah, it is easy to let go. Let's let go. Your mind does what it tells you to do. Your mind does not control you. You control your mind. So when you ask yourself, what if it was easy? I wonder how, make it creative, make it fun. I wonder how it feels just to let go. Like,
yeah,
stop, when you say it's hard, you're going to be like, oh my God, tension, contract, restrict. When you say, it's easy, it's fun, it's creative,
yeah,
it's
you've
actually
changed, you've
enjoyable.
had a complete shift there, haven't
You
you?
had a
So
shift, yeah, in
by
your
choosing
biology.
one of your language patterns, you can make a huge difference, subhanallah. Maybe
Yeah.
you can, and there's different steps that you can do to forgive your ex. Why don't you write down 3 ways your hurt feelings or your pain has impacted or is still impacting your life?
Yeah.
you know Gain awareness of what's going on about the past. Talk to a close friend, or even better, talk to a coach that can help facilitate this process for you, because sometimes there's only so much that your friends can tell you or so much advice that they can give you, because there's a difference between just unsolicited advice and
Yeah.
real professional help, isn't there? Come on.
Right. So true.
there's
So true.
there's huge difference, because who hasn't had advice of their friends, but how has that become life changing? Sometimes, yeah, you can have advice just generally, but that's not going to be the real. If you really want to change your future, and even your friends can give you wrong advice. Correct, Khatija, subhanallah. Find a way to just distance yourself from these negative emotions. It could be practicing, I don't know, yoga,
Mhm.
becoming more fitter, practicing expressing thoughts, feelings in a respectful way. Because when resentment builds up, people sweep these things under the rug. So they
Mm.
become, so being vulnerable is important. Don't bury these negative feelings. Trust me, vulnerability is power. When you are
Yeah.
vulnerable with somebody, when you are
Mm.
real and raw and honest with them, wallahi, they will respect you more.
It's so true, guys. And also, I will also invite you to seek therapy, especially if you're constantly attracting toxic people. Maybe you have a blueprint around relationships. Usually, what I find is people who are good in the outside when it comes to friends, but very bad when it comes to intimate like relationships like marriage. Yeah, they have a very shaky foundation around marriage, and it comes from parents. So usually, what happens is either when you can't hold on, when you can't let go, is usually because either you have father issues, daddy issues, and you thought that your ex could fix that. And then you get angry at him because he didn't stick around. And then you blame him and say he's just like every single man out there, just like my dad, this, and that. That's what you're doing. You're really angry at your father. And you need to fix that suppressed emotion around it. Or it could be because your parents didn't have a great relationship and you wanted to build a better relationship to prove your worth. That's another thing. Or your parents could have had a great relationship and you don't, and now you're thinking, what the hell's wrong with me? So 3 ways that this can go around, but you need to seek therapy, seek coaching, where you can dig deep into those layers, because you can't do it by yourself. I couldn't do this by myself. I
No
had to
way.
hire someone.
Yes,
Yeah.
subhanAllah. And you know what? Wallahi, that creates wonders and miracles when you get to the
Yeah.
root cause. Because when you're getting to the root cause, it's completely different. Right? It's no
Yeah.
fluff. We're not talking no fluff. It's not unsolicited advice that your friend would give you
Right.
and
And
tell
you need
you
to get
get
triggered.
over it, or like
You know,
kind of thing. It's
yeah,
not like that. completely different. You're creating a future.
And with coaching and therapy, you need to get triggered. If your coach and your therapist is not triggering you to heal, because when you get triggered, you're revealing a wound. You have to understand being triggered is not always a bad thing, but it's just how you respond to it. So when you get triggered, usually the coach or the therapist is trying to extract the wound out of you and help you see it face to face, because you can't see it within you. You have to look at it, right? So usually getting triggered is a good thing. If you get triggered by things, it means you have a lot of unhealed wounds and you just have to heal them. Like reach out for help. That's another thing. A lot of people are afraid to reach out for help, especially when it comes to like an ex, when you feel like it's your fault or you feel like I can't just let go. I don't want to let go. A lot of people are afraid to reach out for help. But I promise you, it'll be the best decision you ever make in your life to reach out for help.
I remember when I initially had NLP done on me, and wallahi, like I was in tears, like literally throughout the whole
Yeah.
because it was all this pain and the trapped emotions coming out.
Yes.
Like it was so good, and it was so healthy for me. It was so right for me, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. That was amazing. That was a healing. You tie your camel and you put your trust in Allah, and this is
Right.
your camel. And you know what? You can also little other things that people do as well to repair the damage, to soothe these hurt feelings. I mean, these are on top of getting therapy done. Okay, so we're not saying these are the absolute solutions, but they are on top of an additional, right? You could maybe write a letter or release to that person who your ex basically. You don't need to mail it, you don't need to send it. Your letter might read something like, you know what, I release you from the pain you caused me when we used to argue, or when we did this,
Yeah.
or when you did this. I release you from the pain you caused me.
Yeah. That's such an
Right?
amazing. That's
Subhanallah,
powerful.
one of the like practitioners that I work with, mashallah, she's a master practitioner. She's really amazing, right?
Mm.
And she does this before she goes to bed every night.
Mm.
She programs herself subconsciously, saying that, you know what, I allow you, and I give you that space and that thought just to let go, forgive. I instruct my subconscious mind to forgive and let go of
Yes.
anything that is not serving me. And that
Yes.
is powerful, because you know what you're doing now? You're taking responsibility for your part in that conflict and that dispute with your ex. Because that's
Mm.
how you change the dynamic of relationships. I don't know
Yes.
if you've heard of John Gottman. He's quite famous. I've got one of his books as well, right? And
Mm.
subhanAllah, he says, and he's an expert, he's the king of relationships. He's done some
Mm.
amazing tests, right? He's based in the USA. He says one person's response is what happens is it literally changes the brain waves of that of the person. So apologizing to the person when appropriate, if it's appropriate, but I mean it may not be. This what happens is this validates their feelings, and it promotes that forgiveness, and it allows you to move on. You need
Mm.
to take responsibility. Maybe write that letter, or
Mm.
maybe instruct yourself before you go to sleep. You know what? I forgive you.
Mm. And you know what it is, guys? When you do that, technically your mind goes towards pleasure. Because remember, your mind is here. Mind is always seeking pleasure, and it runs away from pain. Usually, what happens is when you are trying grieving over the end of the marriage, what happens is you remember the good times, because remember your mind is taking you away from the pain,
Yeah,
and you attach yourself to that pleasure. But then you remember the times when it was painful. Then you get angry, and it becomes like this circle. This is why forgiveness, the essence of it is to create pleasure in your mind, to create that happiness. Like there's so much happiness when you detach yourself from
yeah,
a
from all
person.
that negativity. Yeah,
There's so much happiness that you wake up more motivated. You wake up feeling successful. You wake up feeling happy and alive, rather than feeling dead, depressed, anxious, worried, stressed.
yeah,
Right?
or just
So just
wanting to stay in bed all day long,
yeah,
or
like
avoid people, and
yes,
and just
avoiding
got this
people.
pain or this cloud of misery
Yeah.
surrounding you every single place you go.
Right, because your mind, remember, is trying to take you away from pain, and the way that it takes you away from pain is seeking that happiness in forgiveness. That's all it is. And when you forgive, honestly, like wallahi, I know myself, like it makes you feel so happy. You're like, oh, Alhamdulillah, like the first thing you say is like, wow, Alhamdulillah, I can let go. This
Yeah.
feels amazing. And everything in your life unblocks. I've noticed that myself when I was able to forgive, my business boomed. I made money. I started impacting people. I started doing things that I enjoy. I became a better mom. Like I'm more present with my kids. That's what happens because you're not stuck in that pattern of he did this and how dare he and I want revenge.
Yeah,
So,
and you know what? People who are like this, who are becoming that victim mode, you don't
mm,
want to be around them. That's the
yeah,
truth.
it's
People
true.
won't say it to you if you become in this situation. People won't want to be around you. People won't want to hang around with you because there's this negative energy that you're bringing out, and it's draining.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, Rosaline, but if
same.
people are really negative in my general circle of friends,
Yeah.
right? If they're just negative and moaning and complaining, it doesn't have to be forgiveness to do with the ex. It can just be general, their characteristics,
Yeah,
what makes
whining.
them as a person. I don't want to be around them
Yeah.
because that affects me. That brings my mood down. I feel crappy all day long then, and it is something that doesn't serve me. How does that benefit your life? It doesn't. So
Right.
don't let these wounds fester.
Yeah.
Challenge your beliefs, challenge them self defeating thoughts because you're holding on to this hurt, and try and process what happened briefly. You know, processing it is going to allow you to let that resentment go so you can move on to a healthier relationship and you can attract the right person in your life, inshallah. Keep
Yeah.
that big picture in mind and remember, subhanallah, what about the man who, if you can't forgive your ex, we have examples in hadith, right? That
Yeah.
man who killed 99 people,
Mm.
right?
They were seeking
Subhanallah,
forgiveness. Yeah.
he had not sought forgiveness yet. He was on his way to repent to that new place. Right? Come on,
Mm.
think about it. If you knew that there was a man in your area, in your neighborhood, that's killed 99 people, what would you think of him?
Right.
Would
He's
you
like
want to
an
spend
evil
time with
man.
him? Would you want to
Yeah.
spend time with him? Would you let your kids be around him? Would
Nope.
you be okay with him hanging around in the streets?
Mm-mm.
How 99 people is a big number, subhanallah.
Mm.
Right? Think when you have an argument or a grudge with somebody or you slap somebody, you just slap them, right? This is not,
Mm.
and right, how bad do you feel, and that guilt and that shame and that disgust. And this
Mm.
man has taken 99 lives,
Mm.
and he's on his way to seek forgiveness from Allah, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him because he took that step. Sometimes we have to do things for the sake of Allah as well. When you look at the bigger picture, you keep the bigger picture in mind, and wallahi, that not only makes you a better human, a better Muslim, it'll make you a better mother, it'll make you more resilient, it'll help you
Mm.
let go of all this negativity. You won't let your wounds fester. Keep the bigger
Mm.
picture in your mind.
Yes, definitely. And we have a comment back from Kumar who goes, thoughts on toxic transference when you project your neglected emotions of love for a father figure onto an authority figure and you can trap people in toxic relationships over and over again. You have to heal it. It's
Yeah.
very, I'll tell you, it's not for me. I don't, it's very simple, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a very simple process. You heal the father wound, you heal the feelings of abandonment because you feel abandoned by your father, and you stop attracting toxic people. Now, I
Yeah.
know this personally because I've been in like relationships. I've been in those situations with the toxic. And when I heal that father wound, alhamdulillah, I attracted my husband now. And I'm in an amazing marriage. I'm a testament to this. This is a testament that once you heal those wounds, you no longer think about trauma bonding. You no longer think, oh, this person's toxic, that person's toxic. It's not in your radar anymore. You don't even care about people who are toxic. You don't focus on it. The focus becomes on you improving yourself because a lot of us are focused on other people. We're not focused on improving ourselves. So if you want to stop attracting toxic people, Allah says change yourself. Once you change yourself, you change your environment. It's a very simple process, guys. But what it is, we like
And
to
in
all
essence, that's what
complicate it.
happened. That's what happened in
Yeah,
that, narration where that man was told he went to change his
yes,
environment in order to change himself. And
yes.
while he was on that journey, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him, subhanAllah.
Of course. But what it is, we overcomplicate it. And I'm in the business of simplifying things. I love simplifying trauma. I love simplifying hurt. I love simplifying emotions. It's a very simple thing. All you have to do is tell yourself that I don't want to be this way anymore. Because a lot of us, just like Psycho was saying, victim mentality. We want someone to come and reach out to say, there, I'm sorry it happened to you. Let me go and make you feel even worse about yourself by telling you that it's okay for you to feel this way. You need someone to say to you, no, it's not okay that you're doing this to yourself. It's called self-harm. You're emotionally committing suicide every single day, like holding on to this pain. You are self-harming yourself. This is a way of self-harm when you hold on to pain and hurt. So you need to be in that space that thinking, you know what, I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to care about the toxic people that I attract. I want to attract better people. And when you start thinking like that, you will start acting upon it. So
Yeah, and you
that's
need to practice, subhanAllah, you need to practice forgiveness by thinking like a forgiving person.
yeah.
Avoid holding a grudge and declare that, you know what, you're free from playing the victim role now. You've done that. After all, I know no one's perfect, right? I'm not perfect. But for
Yeah, I'm
some
not perfect either.
genuine forgiveness isn't possible, but acceptance is a worthy goal. And that's what we're saying. You need to accept it. Sometimes if somebody's really hurt you and really, you feel like they've done you over, acceptance is what we are aiming for.
Yeah,
And you'll
true.
feel more empowered. And even
Yeah,
experts say that, forgiving an ex, it can allow you to break that cycle of pain. You can move on with your life. You can embrace healthier relationships after divorce. I know forgiveness does take a long time, and it's a lot to do with letting go of them things that you don't have control over, because that's what you're doing. You're holding on to something that you don't have any control over. And you know what, subhanAllah, I feel sorry for that person, the next person that you go in a relationship with or marriage with, right? You get married to, subhanAllah, you're going to project that
yeah.
poor person is going to suffer. That
Because
poor husband or
yeah,
wife is going to suffer because you didn't forgive your ex, because you still
yeah,
got issues going on.
and that's
That's not
selfish.
fair on that person.
Yeah,
That's really not fair. So you have to do the work that is required for you to heal, and which will, inshallah, you will really, it'll make wonders in your life.
yeah.
Moving on with your life, embracing healthier relationships, not just your intimate one, but in your household, at work. It affects all the areas of your life.
Yeah, and this is a step. The first step you need to take is accept that you have a problem. That's very
Yeah,
it may be hard
because
for
you
you
know what? Not even half of the people admit that
that
it's
they
their
have a
fault.
problem. You
Yeah,
know, it's so true, guys. I'll tell you this. When I realized, I was like, damn, I am the problem. I remember saying this to myself, like, oh my God, it's me. Not in the sense that I wasn't blaming myself. I was like, I need help because I can't live like this anymore. I've got kids to raise. I ain't got time to be stuck in this loophole of he did this and that did that. And I did this for him and all this stuff that was going on in my head. I was like, it's only me because no one else is coming to me, putting this stuff in my mind. It's me that's putting it in my mind. So when I
yeah,
was like, you know what, I'm the problem. That's when I was able to seek help. That's when I was able to hire a coach, go through some therapy, train in the therapy as well. And I'm like, wow, man, this stuff is amazing. Once you let go of it, once you stop thinking about what happened, what if this is and that, all these things that goes on in your mind, you start thriving. And then you are destined to thrive. That's what you have to understand. A lot of us we use the ayah, and with hardship comes ease. But you have to remember, Allah says there's two eases with one hardship. If you're stuck in hardship, you are allowing it. That's on you because Allah has guaranteed us ease. He said it twice. He said that I will help you get through it, and I will help you get over it. So if you're still stuck in this cycle
you
of
know what?
pain,
Another thing, subhanAllah, Rosie, I'm
yeah,
sorry I'm putting you, but I've just remembered, when people can't forgive another person,
yeah,
half the time it's because the egos have been wounded and the pride has been literally battered.
yeah, right,
That's what's happened. Your ego has been wounded as well. There is some
yeah,
ego into it, because why
of
wouldn't you
course.
forgive otherwise?
Yeah,
Or there
I
is
remember
some
it was my ego. I remember it was my pride and my ego because when you count, when you
yeah.
count what you've
You
done
think
for someone,
you deserve
yes,
forgiveness, so
that's ego.
you
Yeah,
deserve it.
yes.
That's coming
So,
from a place of neediness. When you say I deserve something in a
mm,
negative kind of context, that's being needy.
yes, but also it comes from when you say to yourself that I'm not going to forgive him because I did so much for him. I gave up my life, I gave up my family, and you count the things, you're counting the stuff that you've done. that comes from a place of ego, because your ego wants recognition. Your
Yeah.
ego constantly wants to be validated, right? And when you operate from a place of ego, is like, we call it shadow work. It's a shadow that you create within yourself, and you can't see past it, right? You can't see past the pain, the grief, whatever, the anger. And this is why it's so important to take the first step and say, I'm the problem. You know, like addicts, alcoholic people, they have to accept that they have a problem because they're in denial. And a lot of us are in denial. We're in denial that we have a problem, and we want to play the victim, and we want people to allow us to play the victim. But if you're around people who are allowing you to do that, they're not your friends. They don't want good
And
for
you know
you.
what? Subhanallah, the worst thing is that if you haven't healed from this and you're going to rush into another relationship, to the next, to the next, to the next, to avoid dealing with that pain, you
Yeah.
know, some people say that the easiest way to get over one person is
Just
go
with
to
another one.
that. You know, one of my friends was telling me, and I was like, "What are you on about?
So
Like,
true.
you want to find love? You just need to get married again." I'm like, really?
No, don't do
because
that, guys.
because there's a misconception. They think
Yeah.
it's easier to immerse yourself in something new. They think
And to
that
actually
in dealing
heal.
with the pain that
Yeah.
you're currently feeling, that's like putting a rug over it, like the carpet
Yeah.
over the wound, and saying, you know what, that doesn't exist. That's a
Yeah.
disservice to you,
You know,
and
I'm so
a
glad.
disservice to your
Yeah.
future husband or wife, because when you break a bone in your body, you don't get right back up and start running, do you? If you broke a bone in your leg, are you going to get up and start running? No. You
No.
allow yourself time to heal, and
Right.
you ease yourself back into that routine. Likewise with relationships, you spend some time being single, you do the work, you go out and meet new people, you remind yourself who you were before your ex was even in the picture, and your future partner, husband or wife, inshallah, they will love you for it. They will
Yeah.
be
I'm so glad you mentioned about identity. A lot of us lose our identity in a relationship. This is why it's so important to have your own goals. Like, I'm not immersed. My husband's not immersed in me. I'm not immersed in him. Like, he doesn't make my world and I don't make his world. We just add to each other's worlds,
yeah.
right? You
So
need to
your
have
cup
other
needs to be
goals.
full. Your cup
Yes.
needs to be full.
And this is what happened when I healed. I took 3 years out. I didn't get married straight away. I healed, and I started looking at myself. And what I did, I reconnected with the person I was way before I got married. Way before, back to like when I was 16, 15, when I was this confident girl that didn't care about what people thought of me. I reconnected with that, and thought, that's really who I am. Because you'll find that your younger years are the true who you are before people told you that there's something wrong with you. So I
Yeah.
was always outspoken, very confident. You know, my brother, like my brother actually, he brought over my school reports when I was in like year 3, and I was reading it, and all the reports say, the teacher kept saying she's very confident until like year 7. That's when things started changing. But when I was in primary school, like everyone wrote she's fluent, she loves like correcting herself, she loves speaking fluently, she loves reading. That's who I was. So you have to reconnect with who you were as a child as well, and figure out what were you know, what did people say about you? What did they compliment you on? That's who you really were, until people started saying to you that there's something wrong with you. And then you started seeking people to validate you. And that's usually when you go into a toxic relationship, or the relationship ends, you think your validation has ended, but you have to go and validate yourself.
Yeah, subhanallah. And that is so true. And you know what? When you let go of the past, when you let go of the past, you're not going to miss out on the future. If you're
Mm,
holding on to the past, you're jeopardizing your potential future, subhanallah. So
yes,
it's going to have a knock on effect in everything you do.
yes. And
You
I would
know,
say to you, I would say to you guys, be your own cheerleader. You, whatever you
yeah.
wanted your ex to tell you, whatever you wanted him to
Say
say
it
to
to,
you,
yeah,
say it to yourself, girl. Like, say, I love you. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're smart. Say all the things that you want to hear from that person to yourself. Whatever you wanted to hear from your parents, say it to yourself. Whatever you want to hear from your friends, say it to yourself. Whoever you resent, because deep down inside you want them to recognize you, say it to yourself.
yeah.
Reverse it back on yourself, because whatever you're trying to project in the world, deep down inside you already have the answers. You just have to look within, deep within. That's it.
Yeah, and you know what? That's so true, because when you think of it like that, before we got married and all these relationships and traumas and hard work and
Yeah.
painful breakups, how different was our life? How plain and sincere and naive and young and innocent you were then. Go back to that, because
Yeah.
we were born like that, subhanallah, right? That
We're
was your gift.
creative.
That was your gift. Utilize your gift. By forgiving, you get to give up that bitterness and resentment, and you take your own power back. Like when we were younger, we were carefree, and we had, this thing, and we were doing that thing. Forgiveness isn't about really condoning bad behavior or forgetting it. It's allowing you to be free. It's allowing you to be better.
Mm,
It's allowing you to be whole. And we don't want you, and the longer you don't forgive, the longer you're going to suffer. That's what it
I
is.
mean, and we
You're
don't want
going to
you to
suffer from it.
suffer. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't, as as people who want to create an impact, we don't want to see you suffer. So if you're feeling triggered, feel free to reach out to me and Saika. Saika actually has a masterclass on Saturday. I would highly invite you.
Sunday, which day is yours? Yeah, alhamdulillah, it is.
Is your
Yeah,
Sunday on
Sunday.
Saturday?
Yeah, no, it was on Sunday. I've got another one on Saturday. It's got a
Oh, so
mistake. Yeah,
Sunday, and then mine's Friday.
yeah,
Mine's about money and abundance, and Cycles is about marriage as well. So guys, reach out to any of us. Like, we are trained in this. Like, we don't want to see you suffer. The whole point of us creating this content for you is to help you transform and to help you realize that you need to reach out for help. Okay, so please do share your insights. What are your insights? What your takeaways are from this live? What are you learning about yourself, and what are you going to implement so that we know that this is transforming you?
yeah,
From
subhanallah.
Free asked them, when we resent someone, how do we say it to ourselves? So what I mean is, like, when you resent someone, it's because you want them to validate you. That's the core issue. You may not realize it consciously, but subconsciously, you want them to validate you. So whatever you wanted to hear from them, like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you for all the time that you spent with me, all these things you want to hear from them, say it to yourself and use the word I. So you're
Yeah,
saying it to yourself. That's the easiest
practice
way.
compassion with yourself. We all make
Yeah.
mistakes. After you've owned your part, you can start to look back and think, okay, maybe I could have done better there. Focus on what the motivations were behind the things you did. When we're being clingy and fearful, they're gonna, like that sister was telling me, obsessively texting and calling,
Yeah.
obsessively checking Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Is he going to
Wasted
message
time.
me? What's he doing? Follow
Wasting
him,
time.
stalk him. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
you're just really hurting yourself. That's what it
yeah.
is. You
Yeah.
need to be compassionate to yourself. We all make mistakes in life. We all go through experiences in life, right? This life is a test, subhanAllah. Right?
Mm.
For us, it's a test from the moment we are born. So you have to be compassionate. It's okay if something didn't release them hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Write maybe that breakup letter to your ex about what they did to hurt you, but unburn it or don't send it. Attend that, I don't know, kickboxing class and imagine
Yeah.
his face on that heavyweight fan. I
You
don't
can
know.
happy.
Start, yeah, that sounds a bit harsh. I wouldn't normally say that.
Yeah.
Start an exercise practice. Start
Yeah.
journaling. That was a bit harsh. Sorry, I didn't say that.
No, but some people no, but some people find it therapeutic, and I've known people who actually
Yeah,
do that. They actually do, like, feel like I'm taking it all out on him, instead, because it's you have to transfer the emotion. So emotions are
yeah,
anything in motion. When it's stuck, some people, because if you're a kinesthetic learner, you'll know you're on the move.
yeah,
You have to
yeah.
move
You have
to
to move and physically do
rest.
something with your
Yes,
body.
some
And you
people.
know what? Wallahi, there's nothing wrong with having a good cry.
Yes, don't feel
A
afraid.
lot of
Don't be
people,
ashamed.
they kind of, they don't want to cry because crying is apparently some sort of weakness to them.
Oh,
And
God,
crying
can I
isn't
add
good.
something? Psych, can I add something? You know what, guys? I never used to cry, right? And, like, if my mom was alive, she would have told you this. I'm not the person to cry. Now, since going through all my own healing journey, I'm like the first person to cry. You will see me cry. And I'm so proud of crying because it took me such a long time to release feelings. So another way that you know that you need healing is when you can't cry. You have to bottle it up. I need to be strong. I can't show my emotions. Showing emotions are weak and all this stuff. If you have that in your mind, that's a sign that you need to heal.
Subhanallah. So
Yes.
yeah, alhamdulillah. Let us know what other takeaways you're getting from this, and please make sure if you know somebody who's in this situation and who's really struggling, send them the link. If you don't want to share it, send it as a private message to them so they
Yeah.
hear and they can benefit, because it's also Ramadan and the lockdown, and we know how tense people are and how difficult it is if you've recently gone through a divorce or a breakup and now you're finding yourself being at home and it's overtaking you. Then get in touch.
Yes.
And
Inshallah.
forgive.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgiveness isn't a line you cross, it's a road you take.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wait, hold on. Once I make peace with those exes to the point that I tried again to help them whenever I can, and after that they tried to hurt me and betrayed me, again now that I have a good part, is this resentment validation too? Well, you shouldn't be allowed. When you forgive
So,
someone, you don't
yeah,
go and help them. That's not the whole point.
yes,
The whole
the
point of
forgiveness
forgiving,
is different to helping them because they can potentially misuse, or you can put yourself in a more kind of dangerous situation.
yeah, like what you don't like. I don't go to my exes and help them. I really don't. I cut contact.
You're not there to fix them. You're not there to fix
Yeah,
them. That's what you need to remember. If they want to be fixed, they have to fix themselves. Yours is just forgiving and accepting
yeah. Okay,
and closing that chapter.
let me make
Yeah.
the distinction. Forgiving does not mean you allow the person back in your life.
And walk all over you and become a doormat.
Forgiving means you let go of the hurt and you move on. Because if you really truly forgive someone, you will never go looking back. You're looking forward. Because holding on to pain is you looking in the past. You're not reversing anymore. You're driving forward. So if you're going back, it means you haven't forgiven. You're still looking for that validation. So you need to validate yourself and really like get help, seek help. Don't be ashamed to seek help and really ask yourself like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing to attract this? Like sometimes when you accept that you're the problem, then that's when you start the healing, the real healing. The surface level is forgiveness, but deep underneath is a validation that you're seeking. So you have to validate yourself. That's the best advice I can give you. 'Cause I've been in that situation as well. You don't want to let in people who hurt you. You know, we're Muslims. We don't get stung by in the same hole twice. There's a
Right.
hadith.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't
Yeah.
do that. You know, a lot of us think, oh, I forgave him now. Let me go back to him. But then you get hurt again. No, but I forgave him. No, that's not forgiveness. That's you seeking attention. That's you
Mm.
seeking his
That's
pain.
you not really being fully over it as well, maybe.
Right. And you're seeking
That's
their attention.
potentially you not being over that person, and you want to have some sort of contact and say, look how good I am.
Yes.
That even though you're not no longer in my life, look what I'm doing for you.
Yeah, and you
You
know, it
don't need
affects
that.
everything. It affects your life. Like, guys, I know if you're in business, if you're a successful woman, an entrepreneur, whatever, it affects that. It affects your money. You avoid money. It affects your relationship with your kids. It affects your relationship with your parents. You have to understand that this is not just affecting one part of your life. It's affecting everything. So once you forgive and let go, you need to move forward. You need to take action forward, not backwards. Right?
Subhanallah.
So,
So
guys,
remember that, yeah,
um,
thank that person for the growth it's brought
yes.
within you.
So I and Farah said, okay, the Instagram is gonna cut off. So guys, I'm gonna say bye on Instagram. We're gonna carry on with Facebook, inshallah. So Jazakallah khair for joining. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, so Rosie was just saying, can you hear me?
Yes, second.
Yeah, so just saying, the choices that you make, subhanallah, you have to, in a way, you have to thank that person for the growth, because this has really brought growth in your life. Because now
Right.
you're framing this, it's not being pain, it's actually brought you growth. You've learned so many lessons through this experience. And now, subhanAllah, you can just forgive. Because if you didn't make that mistake in your life, how would you have become better? How would have you grown? What would you do? You would have, it wouldn't have served you.
Yeah, and the girl, Farah, she mentioned that, to be a decent human, a decent adult for the children, that's absolutely fine. But it doesn't require you to do something for that person. Forgiveness does not require you to have a transaction with that person anymore. The whole point of forgiveness is that you cut it completely and you allow the person to figure out whatever they need. If you're co-parenting, you're not the person to save them again. They have to go and figure that out on their own. Your job as a healed person is to set a healthy boundary. Tell yourself that I will not accept this, this, and this, and always be the better person in the sense that you're not the first person to jump whenever when they say how high, or the other way around, whatever that saying is. When someone says jump, say how high. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to be how we say up north, we say that, the scallywag, we say that, like the person who follows other people. You're not supposed to do that. When you forgive, you set the tone and you set that boundary and you raise it so high that people who have hurt you in the past can't touch you again. That's true forgiveness and that's true validation for yourself.
Raising your standards and setting
Yeah.
them, isn't it? That's very important. And subhanAllah, like we said, if you found this beneficial, please make sure you do your part.
Yes.
Share it with that person who you know is struggling with their ex and who can't forgive their ex. And like we said, in summary, forgiving your ex and moving on, it requires you taking responsibility. You need to practice that compassion with
Yeah.
yourself, work on releasing them hurt feelings, whether it's through a coach or somebody else. Coach is probably the best way. We did it through a coach.
Yeah, the fast results. If you
Yeah,
want fast results, you don't want to be stuck in this cycle for 3, 4 years or the rest of your life. I would highly recommend that you hire a coach, hire someone that can see your blind spots and help you heal rapidly.
yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, completely. And attempt, to be understanding and forgive. Just forgive. Remember, do it for the sake of Allah as well. That should be a motivation for us at all times to forgive.
Yeah.
And just to remind you again, Rosaline's masterclass is on Friday.
Mhm.
What is the
So
class covering, Rosie? Can you give them a description for people who want to join?
So people who it's for coaches and therapists who are trying to lead during COVID-19. So it's been going on for 2 months. We're all still stuck in that fear mode. We're still thinking that our clients don't want to pay for our services. So the masterclass is all about helping you navigate through that, how to show up as a leader and still serve during COVID-19. So it'll be on Friday at 9:30 p.m. and I will go through the mindset that you need to lead, the strategies that you need to implement to help you still attract those clients at a high level, and also the messaging you need to put out in the world so that people understand that you are being compassionate about the situation and you still keep your clients and attract clients. So yes,
Amazing.
it's gonna be
I
epic.
think I might want to join that. Can I jump onto it? I think I
Yes, I'm jumping onto yours, girl.
Alhamdulillah. So make sure if that is something you want and you want to become that, and now's your opportunity, Alhamdulillah, to join the masterclass. Is it free,
Yes.
Rosie?
Yes, free masterclass. So I want you all to attend. Just let me know. Actually, I made a post on Facebook, or you can just send me a PM and I will send you the link. What's your masterclass on, Saika?
Mine is on Sunday. It's basically marriage mastery and looking at the 5 principles that make a relationship thrive. So if you haven't done already, you can register also with me, and inshallah, we'll be going through that at 3 o'clock on
Ooh,
inshallah.
can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm really excited for Saika's masterclass.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So yeah, guys, please share this video with anyone who you feel that can benefit. If you want to watch the replay, it'll be on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. Same time.
Yes, have a lovely iftar. Taqabbalallah minna wa minkum. And hopefully we will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Take
Assalamu
care.
alaikum wa
Assalamu
rahmatullahi.
alaikum.
Thank you very much for joining. If you have any gems, make sure you leave them and we'll get back to you.